Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. Welcome aboard. I am kind of under the weather, and that kind of slowed me down a bit after this morning. I took all three of my additional vaccines yesterday. I took the flu vaccine, I took the COVID vaccine, and I took the, what is the other one? The pneumonia vaccine. And after I did it, yes, my arm pained some, but it's now, I guess, over 12 hours, probably more like 18 hours. And I feel like crap. My body hurts. I kind of have a slight headache. I know it's the immune system reacting to all these vaccines to make sure that it'll do a little bit better. But if I'm a little bit you understand that the entire body is kind of in pain. All right, let's go ahead and welcome AVQ from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome AVQ, number one in the chat again. We also have Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia in the chat again. With us as well is, scrolling down, E2247, keeping me honest on Israel and Gaza. We have Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. Eric Hayes from Kingwood, Atascocita. And let's see who else is in the house. E227. And on the Substack chat, after we got through some of them, Peggy Fokime, Debbie Knight, Marge KJ, thank you guys for being here today. Lee Grant is in from Montgomery County. Thank you for being here, my friend. E2247 says, ceasefire according to Israel. You cease, I fire. Calling it peace is both an insult and a distraction. UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights, Palestinian Francesca Albanese. I think that is pretty darn close to accurate, if not just 100% accurate. All right, Michael Radnin says, New York Daily News. New York City prepares for No Kings protest as millions across the nation are expected to take to the streets in demonstrations on October 18th. 10 million are expected. See you there. I'll be there. I'll be bringing it. I'll try to bring some of it live to Substack. For those of you who are not out there yet, I'm going to do my setup on Friday. It looks like my group. It's not my group. It's Cindy Hendrickson's and Vicky, who are the organizers for that group there, but seems like I'll see what happens. Anyhow, it's going to be big. We have a ton of signups. Cindy sent me the sign up, and it was like, wow, I can't believe we have all those people here. That is amazing. The other thing is, let's see. If you have the ability to get out of your house, even if you haven't signed up for one, if you have a couple of friends in the neighborhood, do some paper signs, cardboard signs that you build yourself with your own writing, with your own markers, because they claim that we are organized by Soros, and that's why we have such perfectly written banners, which we don't. If you take a look at the ones that our great leaders here in Kingwood have done, the women leaders in Kingwood have prepared some great signage, excellent signage actually. It wasn't done by anything professional. This was from their hearts. But if you are not signed up to go to a No Kings rally, please, please, please start it on the corner of your street and with a couple of other people, put up some signs and then take pictures and videos and upload them to your Facebook page and said, I didn't feel like being in the crowd, but I wanted to make a statement. I don't care who you are, where you are. If you are in a wheelchair in the front of your house and you just don't feel like going out there, ask a couple of other folks who are not going to go, that you know are not going to go. Say, come by my house and let's just go to the corner and put up those signs, or you build a sign and take a picture and just stand up for a few or sit for a few and get some pictures and put it on the internet. Show that you support the movement. We're going to be peaceful. We're going to be all of that. But please, my dear people, let's get it past. Miguel says 10 million. I want it past 10 million. I want 10% of this country at least to be engaged physically in the activity. We only need 3.5%. But man, wouldn't 10% be great? Right, Michael? All right. Michael says, AP News, U.S. is working doubling aid to Argentina to $40 billion by tapping private funding sources. The Trump administration is looking to provide an additional $20 billion in financing for Argentina. Why isn't he doing and making all that effort for the farmers? Don't you think the farmers deserve that too, people? I think the farmers, those great farmers, deserve that. Unfortunately, you know how that goes. But anyhow, other item from Brother Rodnan. Egberto, first of 3 videos I hope you can play. I hope they don't have music, Michael. Remember what I said? You don't want us to get kicked off of YouTube with a strike, right? Okay, let's see. Trump gives, I think that one does. I don't see any music on that one. And you know what? That one is right to our hearts, and I'm going to play it for you, Brother Radnin. You see, have I ever told you that I have the best audience? And I'm not saying that to be nice. I watch other shows, right? And there are some shows that have 3 times, 5 times, 10 times the amount of folks I get. I'll see somewhat. I'll see days that, you know, it fluctuates when how many people you get, right? But I'll see days when my composite total is about 200, 300, and see somebody just on their Substack alone. I'm on many other networks as I'm talking right now, but just on their Substack alone, they'll have 400 or 500, and I'll be like, and then I'll sit in there for a while and watch a commentary, etc. And I've got 2 chats here that I work with. Actually, it's 3. And I want to say that I watch a commentary that we get here. We have a hell of a great group that comes here consistently and type and give us stuff. But anyhow, I know Michael is saying, Egberto, shut up and play the video. Okay, Michael, I heard you. Let me shut up and play the video. Here we go. Let's see. Where do I get that start? You know, I always wonder why these things have different ways of doing it. Let's see.
$20 billion to Argentina. We've now given them $40 billion in the last week. How much has gone to American farmers? 0. Trump also wasn't going to pay the military. They said they weren't paying the military during the shutdown. Oh, well, military always gets paid during the shutdown, not under Donald Trump. He said no. Why? This was my favorite. A couple days ago, the Treasury Secretary, when announcing the additional $20 billion for Argentina, said, "Oh, we can't."
Oh, okay. You can't hear anything. Let me see if I can fix that. I don't know why that's the case, but let's see if I can fix that. Let's try that again. I don't know why that didn't come out. Let's try again.
We're not allowed to. Oh, you're not allowed to pay the...
Oh, no, there's something wrong with that channel. Hold on a second. Let's try another channel and see if that works.
Military during the shutdown.
No, that's not working right. Hold on a second. Let's see if something changed in my setup here. That's not good. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Let's see if I can make a change here. That is this connection here. I want to go here. Select window mod, choose audio device, default. Bear with me a second. I don't know what's happening here. We had this stuff working all perfectly, and I don't know what's going on. I think you guys can still hear me. Yeah. Now let's see if I can get that going. The gremlins are acting up on me. Let's see. I am pretty sure that that is set up correctly. I am pretty sure that we need to go back here, there, get to that. And who is this again? This window. Come on, Egberto. That is live now, Chrome. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong window for... Let's see, this window is called... I'm going to get it fixed, guys. I'm going to get it fixed. I'm going to get it fixed. Let's see what I got to do here. Trump announces private equity hospitals. Let me try to close a few things down and see what happens. Sorry about that, guys. I'm so sorry, but I normally do this working all of the times, but for some reason,
But you're allowed to pay Argentina.
I think there was an upgrade to the browser today. I may have to fix this offline. Let's see if I'm going to try one other thing first. I'm going to try one other thing first. Let's see if this does it. Let's see.
That's nice. Now, here's another point.
No, that didn't seem to do it. Let's take it on to select and choose audio device. Chrome, all right. Select the audio, let's see. All right. Guys, I want to get this fixed because this stuff here is a good one that Michael gave us. Oh, audio was good? Try, okay. If you say audio was good, let's try again.
$40 freaking billion. You know how much money they saved by shutting another $20 billion to Argentina? We've now given them $40 billion in the last week. How much has gone to American farmers? Zero. Trump also wasn't going to pay the military. They said they weren't paying the military during the shutdown. Oh well, military always gets paid during the shutdown, not under Donald Trump. He said no. Why? This was my favorite. A couple days ago, the Treasury Secretary, when announcing the additional $20 billion for Argentina, said, oh, we can't pay the military because of the shutdown. We're not allowed to. Oh, you're not allowed to pay the military during the shutdown, but you're allowed to pay Argentina. That's nice. Now, here's another point, too. $40 freaking billion. You know how much money they saved by shutting down AID, our foreign aid program that ended up killing lots of children in Africa? $14 to $16 billion they saved. We just pissed it away. $40 billion they gave to Argentina. These guys don't care about money. They are so fiscally reckless. They shut down these programs because they wanted to hurt people. They shut down these programs because they thought it was Democrats, like only Democrats care about helping people. That's why they cut money from Medicaid. That's why they cut money from the ACA. They're not letting us renew the subsidies for your health insurance. The prices are going to double because of Republicans. And now we've got this. Trump is giving...
So, yeah, I think he nailed it. I think he nailed it. What's the other audio? Let's go ahead and see if I can find the other audio that Michael is talking about. I guess he hasn't loaded it yet. Anyway, continuing with the program. Whoops, let's go back here to the program. All right. Beth Andrews, welcome aboard. Sandra, welcome aboard. Elwin Hudson, welcome aboard. And Teresa Egan, thank you for being here. All right, I have... Let me see if any more is here. Guys, I'm a little bit disjointed today for several reasons. Once I had 3 of my vaccines all at the same time, and the reaction is starting to catch up with me. So I feel like crap. So that's the reason I'm a little bit out of it. All right, Malcolm Nance, disturbing Trump prediction that's sadly coming true. What is that going to be? Any music to that one? Let's see. This one is from E2247. Oh, that is from our sister station, Free Speech, but it's too long, 7 minutes. I'll look at that a little later, my friend. All right, let's see. Egberto, I have high hopes for tomorrow. And Lee Grant, the only violence that might come as a result of counter-protesters are dirty cops. You're correct. And it's not tomorrow, Michael. I hope, isn't today Thursday? Please help me out here. Please tell me you mean Friday. Please tell me you mean, Saturday. Okay. J Ray is in the house. He says he can hear on YouTube. Thank you. It's just low volume. Thank you, Yvette. Let's see what else is going on now. Para ver. Okay, let me tell you. I told you guys about the meeting I had 2 days ago. It was a panel that I was on. And one of the ladies there, she asked me if I thought it was time for progressives to pretty much assert themselves and let it be known that it is time for the progressive value. It is just the right time for progressive values. I want you to see how we took care of that, how we spoke to her. Let's get busy.
The burning question for me, Egberto, is the timing right for an authentically progressive policy agenda for the political left? And we will have to push the Democrats and push really hard for a policy agenda that doesn't hug the middle, the center right, safe, moderate, boring, blah, blah, same old. And I mean truly affordable housing, high quality, publicly funded public education, renewable energy industry, universal single payer. Sorry, Chuck, I still use single payer healthcare system, unrigging the tax code, human rights, full human rights for everybody, voting rights, reversing the damage done by the current regime is going to have to be in there, because we're going to have to put back all the, and comment, we don't have capitalism in this country. We have a heavily subsidized corporate control of all kinds, all of our sectors in our economy. We are subsidizing every single one of these big industries. So I think we have to figure out how to change the narrative on that whole notion that this is any sort of capitalism. But anyway, Democrats continue to run as moderates. Nothing will really improve for the working people. And then my other thought is Bernie and AOC and others get big crowds, but they don't have a strategy to move anything that they talk about.
If I may answer, Bernie's the strategy is that when your own party is fighting you, it is hard for, in other words, if your party is scared to support a Mandami or scared to support a Bernie Sanders or scared to support a AOC or allow others if they don't come out forcefully and defend what AOC and Bernie and Maxwell Frost and these guys stand for, then we really don't have one party, right? So what you're saying is true. Now, your first question was, is really
the timing right for a really, truly
yes,
progressive policy agenda? And should we be pushing our
Yes, and let me tell you first, the first part about that is not allowing them to define what progressives mean. It is time for us to define what progressives mean. And when you itemize what progressives mean, you can go into farm country and you can tell the farmers, progressives mean not giving Argentina $20 billion, but making sure that you have a market. Progressive means, I mean, we are so ripe for the farmers, the people that are look, put it this way. This is a time that we turn Marjorie Taylor into one of the biggest promoters of progressive values because it affected her daughters or her kids, right? She saw what being a part of just us is all about. I'm not saying that facetiously. I mean that to the core. I wish somebody would go ahead and start going into her district. And I'm not talking about talking directly to her. I'm talking about going into her district and preaching the things that we stand for, because those are the districts that need it. West Virginia. When AOC attempted to go into West Virginia, they accepted the duel. And as soon as they realized, oh my God, the people are going to like what she has to say, they backed out. So I'm saying, yes, it is time, but we have to leave the party leadership behind completely and we have to bring them in, dragging and kicking, just like they brought in the governor from New York to finally endorse Mandami, just like they brought in the chairman of the party to finally endorse Mandami, because they realized one other thing. They said once it's done, vote blue, no matter who. Well, somehow it didn't matter. It wasn't applicable for Mandami. I'm sorry. It is time for us to do it. And as far as progressive values, ma'am, I mean, ma'am, it is absolutely time that we do it.
Great, I'm with you. I know we have other hands up. One more thing. The thing I'm really afraid about with this stupid so-called shutdown is that the lesson people will learn is that everybody loves the subsidies for the ACA, which is a completely a
Mhm.
wrong takeaway. And I don't know how we're going to fix that.
No, the subsidies for the Republicans hate it. They hate
Yeah,
first.
but the Democrats are going to believe that they're getting support to hold out is because people really agree with these thousands of dollars of subsidies to buy private insurance. That
No,
no,
no. Right. They're doing it because they want to be able to afford health insurance. That's why they're doing it. They want to be able to afford health insurance, whether private or not. What we have to show is that the reason it's so darn high, it's because it is private insurance.
that's right.
And yeah.
That's right.
Great,
Anyway,
thank you.
okay, thanks, Egberto.
Okay, that was a good interchange that we had, and I have some more of those that I want to put out as well. By the way, Michael, I'm going to play your other. I'm going to play your other one in a second. I just want to tell the woman that's running in Texas for governor is Gina Hinojosa, and I like her. I've spoken to her before. She would make a good governor. I think it's time for women to really take over this state. This state is run by a whole bunch of patriarchal jerks. I mean, guys that think having that private part gives them carte blanche to do as they please. So I like Gina Hinojosa. I think she would make a great governor. All right, Michael, I didn't listen to this one. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for this one. I trust you, brother. Let's see what it says.
Another horrific ICE story. This time they threatened to shoot some ambulance drivers for trying to take a protester to the hospital. So the protester had either broken his collarbone or dislocated it. The ICE agents took him inside the building, called the ambulance. The ambulance arrives. They try to take him away, and the ICE agents say, "No, we've got to come with you in the ambulance." And the ambulance driver said, "Well, no, under our rules, unless he's been arrested, we can't let you in the cabin with us." Was he arrested? No. Okay. So they say, "Oh, that's fine, we'll follow you." Okay, great. Well, they're still not allowed to leave, and they're wondering what the hell's going on. Let me read you this from Willamette Week, and by the way, these come from the reports of both ambulance drivers and the audio they recorded, and the audio from 911, and the audio of them talking to their base. It's corroborating. I repeat again, the driver says, after again they say they want to ride in the cabin, no officer is permitted to ride in the ambulance, and that they can meet us at the hospital, and that we need to be let out of the facility. This is according to the driver's report. Officers then began walking away from me whenever I spoke. At that point, a group of 5 to 8 civilian-dressed men walked into the garage and just stared at me. No identification on any of them. I walked back to the ambulance and got into the driver's seat. I flipped the emergency lights on and put the car into drive. I inched forward slowly out of the garage. At this point, a report says a man in civilian clothes with a neck wrap covering the lower part of his face stepped in front of the ambulance and told the driver to halt. The ambulance driver in the report recalls telling the man not to stand in front of the ambulance, and that the man then yelled at the driver to stop, citing the risk to federal agents. The driver recalled expressing skepticism about the risk of hitting the large group of officers in full riot gear in plain view about 15 feet in front. Now they're saying, "Yeah, I'm going to run you over in front of 15 people." The group of about 30 officers in front of the ambulance, 30 now. It took 30 of these. This is like a light bulb joke. Several federal agents, many in riot gear, moved to stand incredibly close to the front of the ambulance, the driver recounts. This is where it gets really bad. I placed the ambulance into park, right, the car, took my foot off the brake, undid my seatbelt, and opened the driver's side door. I looked up, and suddenly the entire group of officers were crowded around the open car door, some of them leaning towards me inches from my face. An agent, the driver recalled, pointed his finger at me in a threatening manner and began viciously yelling in my face, stating, "Don't you ever do that again, I will shoot you, I will arrest you right now." According to the driver's report, the crew member who had been in the rear of the ambulance told the agent that the vehicle rolled forward when the driver put it in park. No one was trying to hit them. A little more from the ambulance driver. I was still in shock, the driver wrote later, that they were not only accusing me of such a thing, trying to run them down, but crowding and cornering me in the seat, pointing and screaming at me, threatening to shoot and arrest me, and not allowing the ambulance to leave the scene. This was no longer a safe scene, and in that moment I realized that the scene had not actually been safe the entire time that they were blocking us from exiting, and that we were another horrific ICE story.
And as it turns out, Michael, you said something earlier. Our problem with violence that likely to happen, if that may happen in some locations on Saturday, I don't think we have anything to worry about the people. I think the ones that are likely to be violent are those ICE thugs. And that's why all of you that are out there, folks, have your cameras ready. Please have your cameras ready and have many of them. Because let me tell you what is the other thing they're going to say. If it's only one other corroborating video, they're going to say, oh, that could be AI. But if we have corroborating video after corroborating video that can be merged together, they can't say that you AI'd the thing. This is where all of us have to step up. All of us folks have got to step up. All right, Michael has one last video. Michael, you're taking up the time, but I think let's go ahead and pause it and move it back. And let's go ahead and put that one on as well. Let's go ahead and get busy con esta vaina.
Why is no one talking about what's going on in Alaska? A typhoon, yes, a typhoon just hit Western Alaska. Homes are underwater. People are dead. People are missing. Food stores are destroyed. And no one's talking about it. It's reported that Typhoon Halong had such strong winds, it ripped homes right out of the foundation. In Kipnuk, water levels rose to over 6.5 feet. There is one woman reported dead, 2 people missing, over 1,000 indigenous people displaced. Rural indigenous communities are already struggling in Alaska in good weather. Where's the national coverage? The federal urgency? You mean to tell me the same country that can mobilize thousands overnight for a war can't seem to help Native Alaskans? This isn't just a storm. This is climate change met with government neglect, and indigenous communities are suffering over something they did not cause. Again, I might add. And the worst part is that you have to go digging to find out about it. The White House hasn't said a word. There are no news reportings of it hardly. It's like the storm hit a political dead zone. A disaster hits the coast of Florida, there's 24/7 coverage. But when it happens to Native indigenous people in Alaska, suddenly that's too far to care. That does not have anything to do with distance and everything to do with discrimination. So if you're here watching this, don't scroll past. Comment, like, share, repost. This deserves attention and it deserves accountability. And now it's up to us.
Wow, Michael, I just learned that. Michael, is this a updated video? What's the date on this? This is something that we've got to publicize. This, when we talk about independent media, this is a big story, right? 1,000 people displaced. 1,000 people displaced. That's a big story. Why hasn't it been told? Thank you for that, Michael. And it is something that I'll have to go ahead and do some research on. I didn't know either. There's just so much one can know. Please go ahead. Thank you for that. Please, Michael, I need to task you with something. Please give me a heads up through the normal method that you give me so that I can add that to our repertoire of things that are happening. Wow. I didn't know that at all. Thank you for that. All right. Reverend Carlton says, I will be cheering for you here in Canada on Saturday. I am hoping that you can generate a huge groundswell against the overthrow of your democracy by an orange, despotic, unhinged, and demented king. I have one correction for that, brother. Wannabe king. Wannabe king. That's what it is. Wannabe king. Let's see what else we had. Let's see what else we've got here. Today, Donald Trump went on TV and he implied that the United States is going to hit Venezuela. And of course, the pretext is the war on drugs, that non-existent war on drugs. Already one of the boats that he hit in the Caribbean Sea, I think it was, the Colombian president or the Colombian administration said that one of those boats that he claimed was Venezuelan was actually a boat filled with Colombians. So the United States executed Colombians. The first message is to the generals and the officers that are implementing the commands from the presidents, from our president, from Donald Trump. At this point in time, you are effecting an illegal order, and it is something that you can be tried for. America does not have the right to assassinate people in the middle of the ocean. They have the power to do it, but it's not legal. It is illegal. And if a subsequent administration comes in, or when a subsequent administration comes in, I would hope that they will prosecute illegal orders that came from Donald Trump. They cannot prosecute Donald Trump, but they can prosecute all those military and civilians who have executed illegal orders, who have broken the law under the behest of Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump, after blowing things out of the water, he claims he has naval superiority. Let me tell you that they've moved 10,000 people, mostly to Puerto Rico, in that vicinity. They have a lot of ships down there now. I imagine that the agreement they made with my former country, Panama, was probably one of the other, one of the places that they're docking and getting resupplies, etc. But now he's talking about, or he's trying to imply, he's thrown up the balloon that we may hit Venezuela. For those people who have been taught to hate Venezuela's leftist government, I am not a fan of Nicolas Maduro. I think Nicolas Maduro pretty much, in the process of having all the spears coming at him, I think something has happened to him in his, I don't want to call him a complete totalitarian or authoritarian, but the fear can have a way of putting that into the fold. But let me point this out. When Chavez came into power, first of all, it wasn't Chavez who nationalized the oil industry, okay? It was Carlos Andrés Pérez, one of their former presidents before the coup. And what they started to do is realize that the plutocracy was getting all the spoils for all. Venezuela is like a mini Africa. And if you take a look at how South America was formed, I think it kind of broke off from Africa. If you take a look at where the land masses are, right? So Venezuela is likely the second richest type on a per square. I don't know this for a fact. Notice I don't tell you things that I don't know for a fact, but just based on the amount that it has relative to Central America, North America, etc., it is filled with natural resources. It has more oil than any country in the world. Not that that's a good thing for us anymore, but it has more resources than any country in the world. It has gold, it has bauxite, it has a whole lot of stuff. And the people are dirt poor. The people are dirt poor. Why? Because our plutocracy, the American plutocracy, makes deals with the Venezuelan plutocracy that has nothing to do with the people. And their sole purpose is to effect the definition of capitalism. That's an economic system that governs what they do, right? And in the profit maximization, each country does the least it has to do to keep the most of the spoils that they have. So They import American companies to come and do some drilling for them. They sell the oil for peanuts, as long as the oligarchy in these countries made a whole lot of the money. That's what they did. Well, Carlos Andrés Pérez nationalized the natural resources of the country, the oil. And then, of course, the corruption with the oligarchy continued, and Chavez, Hugo Chavez, overthrew the government. And when he overthrew the government, what he did is liberated the resources where poverty, I don't want to say disappeared, but poverty became a different thing. It lowered poverty like no other. And why? Because the country invested in people who wanted to have their own private shops. You know, you had a lot of people that got investments from the government to open up their little abarroteria, open their little shop on the corner, selling their plantains and yuca and all these things. They did a whole lot of things to make the poor self-sufficient after investments from the government in education and many other fields. The plutocracy doesn't like that. They want control of the money. They want control of the resources. And America doesn't want Americans to see what a true government, where the resources of that country were shared to all the people of that country. I want to give you guys an example, okay? Check this out. If we go to Colorado, if we go to all these other places where these American companies clear-cut forests and take the timber. Yeah, a lot of times they have to plant it back now, but take the timber. All of that belongs to all of us. They go into the ground, they take out the uranium, they take out the oil, they take out all these resources, and they pay a tiny stipend for that. But the stockholders in that company gets the spoils from the $100 a barrel oil, from the $70 a barrel oil. They make the money as we go into debt. And they have so much money that they are able then, they don't want to pay taxes at the same time. They make all this money. They don't want to pay taxes on that money. So we run budget deficits, which means we have to borrow the money for us to continue. And who do you think we borrow that money from? We borrow the money from the companies that are raping us. We borrow the money from those who profited from the free oil we gave them, right? From the free oil we gave them, the American people. So folks, if the Bolivarian Revolution, which is what Hugo Chavez's dream was, Hugo Chavez's dream was to create a Bolivarian revolution throughout South America, to create an independent South American currency, Latin American currency actually, to actually be self-sufficient. He was given loans to Argentina. He was given loans to all these other countries because they are so awash in oil. And what do you think? What do you think they did? What they did is they squandered that. They made sure it didn't work. Oh my God. So he did send those B-52s. 3 B-52 bombers took off from Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana on Wednesday and flew for hours near the coast of Venezuela, according to the flight pattern data, in what appears to be a major show of force by President Trump. There we go. Who the hell does Trump think he is? But let's continue with Venezuela. So the biggest fear of the capitalist countries is that a Bolivarian revolution, which shows that, or which says that all all the resources of a country should belong to the people in the country, that is what America's fear that Americans start to learn. They fear that Americans who are very intelligent, who have resources, will start asking the questions. Why is it that all the public land, all the resources on the public land are being exploited by the few for the benefit of the few to enrich the few? So what we have is Venezuela cannot succeed. But you know, how do you stop a country from succeeding when that country is awash in natural resources and you have a big other country like China saying, would you like me to help you? America panics. Because while America is busy blowing stuff up around the world, China is busy building stuff around the world. I wanted to show you all something. Let's see if I can get to it. I wanted to, you know what America is doing around the world. They're blowing stuff up. They're cutting programs like USAID that used to assist other countries health-wise, food-wise, etc. They're doing all these things, excommunicating themselves of any benevolence from other countries, right? And at the same time, blowing up stuff in Israel and blowing up stuff in Iran and blowing up stuff everywhere. Have you heard of China blowing up anything around the world? I haven't read anything. I haven't seen anything. But let me put something on the screen for you. This is very important for you to know and for you to tell your people. For you to tell everybody. I had a I wanted to itemize things that China is doing around the world to build goodwill. In Djibouti, Ethiopia, they're building ports and other infrastructure. In Egypt, they're building new capital infrastructure, building fired power plants. In Kenya, they're building railroads. In Sudan, they're building dams. In Nigeria, they're helping expand their gas pipelines and their hydropower. In Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa, they're doing, Addis Ababa, I always say it wrong, Addis Ababa. They're out there building railroads. In Zambia, Tanzania, and Uganda, they're building power stations, right? We are not doing anything positive in these other countries, right? Everything that we do, we want an immediate payback. China says, I'll build goodwill. Yeah, you owe me money for this, but let's build goodwill. In Pakistan, China is building the backbone project for the Gwadar ports and many roads. In Laos, they're building a 1,000-kilometer railway. In Kazakhstan, they're building corridors for railroads and roads. In Mongolia, Russia corridor, they're building railroads to connect different areas that have never been connected. In Malaysia, they're building various ports and industrial infrastructure so that they can get their own products into these countries. In Indonesia, Jakarta, Bandung, high-speed railway, 142 kilometers an hour. In Europe, in Serbia and Hungary, they're building railroads and flagships. In Portugal, they're building ports, and other BRI framework items, belts and roads, okay? In Italy, a G7 country, they've signed a non-binding MOU to do things. In Austria, they're building. In Switzerland, Luxembourg, and Latin America, Peru, they're building many other things. In Panama, my country, they're building ports. All these things are heavy lifting investments. Now, we paid Israel to blow up a whole lot of stuff in Gaza, and now we're running around the world saying, who pays for the things that we blew up? Who pays for the things Israel blew up? Who pays for the lives Israel extinguished? You get the picture? You get the picture? Here are the observations and caveats. Many BRI projects, as Belt and Road, are financed via Chinese state banks or state-owned enterprises, and details cost, there are cost overruns, debt structure, local participation can be opaque. In other words, they're saying, oh, we don't exactly know what's happening. No, we don't. But you know what we do know? That the things are being built. I then asked to look up, let's talk about our backyard. In other words, that was sort of a overview of what they're doing nationally. I said, let's come to our backyard, not the backyard of those who believed America meaning South America, the Caribbean, and Central America is a part of our manifest destiny. Even though that was supposed to be moving west, we all know that it's a bit more than that, right? Hydropower in Argentina. So here we are. We just gave Argentina $20 billion up to $40 billion. But guess what? China has its foot in there. China is buying their soybeans, not from our farmers, but from Argentina. And they're also helping them with their hydro rail modernization in Argentina as well. In Bolivia, they're building hydropower projects and railroads. In Peru, they're building ports, and there's a big port in Peru that they're building. And I actually read about this several weeks ago, where it's the entry point to get a lot of exports out of that vast farming that South America has, which means our farmers there was a farmer yesterday that said, oh yeah, things are bad, but I still support Donald Trump. I know we're going to feel pain for a little while, but we know it's going to get better. No, it's not. No, it's not. The infrastructure being built for China buying produce and everything else from around the world it means that our farmers are in trouble. Mike Cisak says, Egberto, you obviously don't know that they are loaning those projects to those countries. No, I do know that. Why don't you think I know that? And when they can't pay, often China takes control and assume ownership. All right, let's back up. America does that to the nth degree. America invests in a country, they don't do what America wants, they take it over or they blow it up. So China doesn't blow it up, China just builds. When was the last time China blew it up, brother? We do. Look at what we did to Panama. All right, China was hired, not China. A private company in China was running the ports in Panama. And you know what the American government said? Get them out of there or we blow stuff up. So please, don't tell me about, oh, well, China is going to charge them later on. Look, I am no fan of any country like China. But what I'm saying is China is playing it very smart. And what we are playing is a testosterone game that we better learn is not going to work for us. Because that's why I want women in charge. Because maybe they can see things a little bit better. You heard what Ocasio-Cortez said yesterday about what Republicans are breeding, in the kind of men they're breeding. And you're a classic example, my dear brother. You're a classic example. I'm going to play that always see piece tomorrow. But China is building, and I still have project after project after all of these are current projects, folks. Current projects. You see? Now, Mike Cisak, I normally don't quote him or anything like that. He's a MAGA guy. AOC is an idiot. No, Mike C. AOC makes your mind look small. AOC is so much more intelligent than you are, Mike C. AOC makes you look like well, you know what? I won't use those words on here. AOC, the fact that those are the words you use for AOC just talks a whole lot more about you. All right, E2247 says, this Saturday, no King's Day actions in the midst of 47 Miller Noam Patel terror. Reaffirm the power of art by making and bringing something that reaffirm the power of art and avoid mindless screaming. I love that, E2247. E2247, I hope one day you tell me where you are. And if you don't want people to know, just drop it to me in a direct message. Again, Michael, I thought you had the ability to block what you want. I leave that up to you. But anyhow, just as a final statement to Mike Cisak, AOC makes you look exactly who you are, my dear brother. All right, the imaginary radical left Democrats Trumper rages about would be very useful. The great American eagle sure could use a left wing. Death spirals don't get you anywhere. From Reverend Carlton in Canada. Thank you, Reverend Carlton. All right, we are coming up close to the end of the program, but it seems like my brother is calling in. It's Senor Ray Brackens. How you doing, Ray? Oh, Ray, you are on and you got off. Call back again, Ray. Let's see. E2247 says, I be on Earth in Milky Way, third rock from the sun. Oh, I love you, E2247. You know that, right? Anyway, we're coming close to the end of the program, and until Brother Ray comes back, I want to invite all of you to please consider becoming paid subscribers of Politics Done Right. Actually, it would be paid subscribers of Egberto Off the Record. Brother Ray Brackens, close her out for me. How you doing?
I'm good. Sorry about the hang up. And I want to say, Egberto, I wish you a speedy recovery from the vaccine. Good thing I just want to say I'm glad you don't listen to RFK. But
thank you, brother.
But yeah, you brought up the best point is to say that, we've been thinking and saying as Americans that we're so much better than China, and China doesn't know how to treat their people. And you know what? I'll go against you for one thing. You say you're not a fan of China. I say I absolutely am a fan of China, and I am a fan of whatever their economic system is, because obviously they figured out a way to get power to the people, and just believe that the money that they're collecting from those projects is going back into the government to provide for programs that help the people out. That's my
let me just say this, Michael. When I said I'm not particular about China, it's not about any kind of hate or anything. Let me just tell you, I've been to China twice. I've been to Taiwan. I've been to all these other countries because I actually did a big project if you read my book, and I think I sent one to you, Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean Man. I recounted the story about me going to China. And China, the thing about Americans is we don't really understand how advanced the China cities are, right? Look, China still have its back country like we have our back country, but China is a very advanced country, and in many ways more advanced than we are, with their infrastructure, with their buildings, with their master planning of communities, etc. You just have to go on to TikTok and hear stories from teachers who have moved over, English teachers who have moved over to China, lived in apartment complexes, live and understand how things work, and they'll tell you. And it's not Chinese propaganda. This isn't Chinese. Uh-oh. All right, got to cut you out.
Sorry about the background.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Okay, we got to go. I got to close the program down, but thank you very much for calling in, Ray. We'll talk tomorrow. All right, folks. Look, for those of you who are listening, I want to ask you so kindly to consider becoming paid subscribers of our Egberto Off the Record newsletter. That subsidizes all the work we do, both in-house and out-of-house, meaning in studio and out of studio. It subsidizes everything. And to do that, you just have to go to politicsdoneright.com politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. That is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. And just support us. That is how we are going to get the message out. I'll be out there in the field transmitting for the No Kings March. And I hope to see quite a few people that are local at the marches. And I hope to transmit it by Substack as well. I'll see if I can do Substack. What happens though is there are going to be so many people out there that the signals may be a bit suspect. So we'll see if I'm able to do it. So again, let's go ahead and close this baby out. Please support us however you can. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. All right, folks, love you all, and I mean all of you. You can email me at kpft@politicsdoneright.com or info@politicsdoneright.com. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.